Now, I've seen you do a couple blogs on Jim Jones. What's your argument there?
Jimmy. Oh my God. My biggest problem with Jimmy, and I say this right, I'm a fan of his music. But what was the tipping scale for me was that conversation with him talking about super violate Tekashi 6ix9ine. That was it for me. First of all, I am the first YouTuber that went at the 9 Trey with Tekashi 6ix9ine with them running with him, because I was telling everybody that boy was not gangster. He was a good kid that was pulled into the whip that didn't belong in the whip. In my generation, not near one dude that raised me would have even let him participate in anything that they did.
Right.
He wasn't a good kid though. But keep going.
I'll say like this. He was a good kid as far as like
He wasn't involved.
Nah,
he
wasn't
wasn't
a kid.
he wasn't built for the whip.
Right.
He was a kid that could have been exactly what he is.
Didn't he have like rape charges and all type of stuff like prior before him coming even into
Yeah, he
wasn't
definitely, and I
convicted,
spoke
but
on
you
that.
know, yeah, he was.
I have videos on my page
That's not nothing
on my page on that.
brush over when you say he's a good kid.
Well-
Good kids are not involved with rape charges.
But also the Billies
Good
knew that he
kids
did
are
that too.
not- good
And they
kids
still
are
fucked
not
with him.
Well,
running the game.
let me say this on his behalf, right? Because
Is that what it was?
They still knew that he did that.
listen, let me say this on his
I
behalf.
don't convict niggas without. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Let me say this on his behalf, right?
Right.
She was a young girl. He was young. He was older, a little bit older. The only reason why I forgive him, because we have to understand that he was still close in age as her, even though he was older than her. That's like, for example, right? You can get locked up for being 18 years old with a photo of a 16-year-old. That's child pornography. They're the same age. So the girl he was a little bit older.
Right.
Shorty, okay, let's say she was a little fast. It's still wrong. But I could forgive because the ages were so close.
Right.
So you can't make...
Because eventually that becomes a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody's looking at that like that.
Right.
And there was older dudes involved.
Yeah.
Older dudes than Tekashi that was involved with that.
Wow.
Who was really
That went to jail.
That went to jail.
That went to
I
jail.
know them personally.
Yeah, that went to jail off of the case. So, I don't like, things happen. I don't agree with it. I was the first one to spank Tekashi on the internet for that. Everybody, you're a hater, you're a hater, you're a hater. So now you got Jim Jones on the internet talking about super violating a young boy that was kidnapped. Because when people sit up there saying he's a snitch, I don't see it that way. He was never supposed to be in. I'm always going to look at the beginning. He was never supposed to be in that with those caliber. Like, come on, you talking about Mel. You talking about Shooter.
None of us are supposed to end up in the street where we at. Ain't none of us supposed to end up on the block hustling or doing anything that you doing. But let me tell y'all something out there. If you end up there, you in it. Once you in it, you in it.
You in it.
You
Lock the door.
You're gonna pay the consequences
Lock the door.
for what you in. I'm not giving you that break.
Lock the door.
You run up against
Once you
people
walk
like
in,
me, I ain't cutting
the
you that
door
break.
locked.
I ain't cutting you that break.
Once you involved, you're involved.
If you want to stay out the street, stay on the curb.
Once I saw him say, I got a 30-pack on it, I was like,
That exactly where I was about to go.
Yeah.
no remorse for
Exactly where I was
you.
about to
You
go.
put hits
No
on
remorse for
people,
you.
You running with gangs?
You're a criminal.
Exactly.
You're a criminal now.
You ain't no good kid.
No,
you
listen,
get what you got
my
coming.
whole thing, listen, I agree with everything y'all saying when it comes to that.
He was a father that whole
But at
time.
the same time, if Tekashi
Feel me?
6ix9ine was my my son, I would be at war with all of them niggas because it wouldn't even matter. Because why would you pull this kid into that is not him.
That's what he wanted, bro.
Listen,
when you say
listen,
the only
he wanted
hold on.
that.
Listen.
The only reason I jump in is because when you say pull him, they didn't have to pull. He went running. He chose. He did the exact. Hold on, let me just.
Manipulated them.
He just because he
He manipulated them.
just because he had the wherewithal to start playing the game doesn't mean he didn't pick up the dice and roll them, bro. Like, you went, you decided. Everybody I've ever known one of the worst phrases I hate in hip hop is I didn't choose the streets chose me.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. You chose.
That's a lie, yeah.
You
Nah,
made
nah.
a decision. Just like the first time you went out and decided to hustle, just like the first time you went out,
I
picked
can't
up a
really
gun,
agree with that.
First
I
time you
can't
went out and did it.
I
Bro,
can't fully agree with that.
you chose. He chose. He knew that those were gang members.
Listen.
Chose.
Yo, let me
Listen, when Tekashi 6ix9ine, right?
Let's put it this way. It's no different from, you see the shit that go on in Africa where they get them young boys? I got family members who've had to be in firefights with these people, with kids. And they having nightmares to this day because they had to put down kids. But if they didn't, them kids would have put them down.
They
You
didn't
feel what I'm
choose that.
saying?
That's
That's their
forced.
environment, bro. Those kids are in it.
That-
they don't know nothing else.
That
they don't know
boy
nothing else.
chose. That boy chose.
All right, so listen.
He chose, but I'm saying everybody
check it,
don't
right?
The
have
only reason I
multiple choices.
Check
say
it, right?
I don't like that phrase is because it's abused by people who should not be using it.
True.
Nigga, you chose.
Yeah.
Don't get the fuck out of here.
So
You
listen,
chose.
You knew it was a
all
marketing
right, so check
scheme.
it, right?
He knew it was a marketing scheme.
Back to what you said, right?
He knew it was a
First
marketing
off,
scheme.
let me say this. He said Tekashi manipulated them, right? So now, based off of me being an OG and coming from a certain frame of mind, right? If Tekashi 6ix9ine was able to manipulate Mel and Shadi, then they are unworthy of being street generals.
That's why
They
they
were
at.
not street generals.
That's
though.
where they at.
Wasn't they sleeping?
That's why they where they at.
Wasn't they sleeping in the apartment on the floor or something like that? They say.
Shadi was
That ain't no street general.
Shadi was
Shadi-
going through whatever he was going
Shadi
through. I'm
and
not
Mel
from Brooklyn. I'm not gonna say what
are
niggas was
leaders.
doing, whatever.
Right.
They are
But-
leaders of
But
non-trade. One of the
Tekashi-
most powerful sets. They are leaders of one of the most powerful sets. If a kid like him could manipulate grown men, then the grown men on that caliber and that level. These ain't no weak dudes. If he can manipulate men of that caliber, then they are unworthy of their leadership and they should be stripped down, point blank, period. Because he cannot, because he can't, no, they were. And they were strong in the street.
Leaders of him. They wasn't leaders. They wasn't leaders of the set because you were
They were
already-
following Jim Jones.
Exactly.
That's
They
it.
were-
Point
you already
the
know
money-
that they was up under Jim Jones.
point
So, yeah,
point
they-
going.
The money was the leader. The money was the leader.
I'll tell you like this then, right?
The money was the leader.
money
That's
was
why
the
he was
leader.
able to manipulate.
Yeah,
You feel
they
me?
were hungry.
But they not gonna
They
admit
were
that.
living
You understand?
destitute.
That's the
They
hard
got a
part to
young boy
swallow
that they
when it
couldn't
comes to
even
that.
come up
I was
with.
blood for a lot of years, bro. I just stopped fucking with all that shit like 2 summers ago. Cause I seen it. You know, I was a part of the Star Brim Cardi situation. So that situation right there showed me. And the Tekashi shit was going on at that time. So it was a little bit of that spilling and I was hat. You know what I mean? But they was non-trade, but there was a little bit of that spilling into the Cardi situation. So I seen it, and I seen the clout chasing. Like we say, like we argue about the errors. You understand? It was a certain point where, from when he was GKB, so when I came in, things changed, and it did become about the bag. It did start becoming about music and about who's popping and about, you know what I mean? But it was a blurred line. So where everybody was still on real right time, but people still got that hunger to want to be. You understand what I'm saying? So that was why it was easy for a person like Tekashi to just come. And no, I don't take nothing away from Mel. I don't take nothing away from Shadi. They were
that
thorough.
from the start.
Yeah.
When that shit hit the hood, I was walking around, checking niggas' shoulders. Yo, what are you doing? It's New York, bro. Like, what are you doing?
New
And
York
I
didn't
saw
feel like
the
New York.
caliber of niggas that started stacking up.
Yeah.
And I was like, these is niggas that we would never hang with.
That's why he got out the way.
Y'all just want the numbers now?
Yeah.
Oh, you in the mix with a bunch of, you know what I mean?
And they went from the numbers and they graduated to just the bag now. Like, fuck even the numbers. Like, we'll take one little nigga that's a Mexican or whoever, wherever he from.
Yeah.
We're gonna let him ride the whip. He gonna get us a bag. But I wasn't even mad at that. I was mad at, like he said, the leadership. I'm not mad at Mel and Shadi for getting a power move, but y'all was supposed to do what y'all was supposed to do with it.
Right.
Y'all wasn't supposed to do the same thing that we was doing before we
He
got
wasn't
Tekashi.
supposed to
Yeah.
call. He wasn't supposed to call
That's
shots.
all I was saying. We supposed to use it
He
to
wasn't
build,
supposed to
build
call
our
shots.
shit up.
Period. He
Let me
wasn't
tell you
supposed to call
something.
shots.
Anything that Shadi wanted Tekashi to do, he would do.
Facts.
Tekashi 6ix9ine loved Shotty. Now, I can't say for sure whether Shotty slept with his girl or not, but here's the reality, right? The boy was kidnapped by two of the most dangerous niggas in that shit that niggas is scared to death of.
Facts.
Right? That shit was all on camera, for one. For two, he said he found the text messages, right? The boy broke down how when he got kidnapped, the only one that knew where he lived at was Shotty. All of these niggas is down with each other. Shotty's not the type of dude that you're just gonna step on his toes and rob his bank, because Tekashi is his bank, without there being a full-scale war. So now, you get the feds to come in and snatch dudes or whatever the case may be, and you see everybody's blaming Tekashi 6ix9ine, but the reality of it is Tekashi didn't bring down that set. Jim Jones did with that phone conversation, and CEO Chris did.
Yeah, because CEO Chris.
Tekashi 6ix9ine got dragged in the middle of they shit.
And remember, it was an indictment before that. My man went down
CEO Chris is on a phone conversation, right?
Free Gato.
He on a phone conversation, 2 wiretaps. One with Shotty in them, and then the other one with Mel. Those are 2 different cases that's not even connected.
Facts.
Those are 2 different indictments that Jim Jones is under. That's for one. For two, my biggest problem, all of this connects. When Jim Jones came out, he was a billboard for promoting Bloods. With Dipset, he spread blood throughout the whole East Coast. So what OG Mac did in jail, Jim Jones did in the street. And it spread like, I'm not gonna take away what Pete did, because Pete brought some muscle to it, some structure to it, some muscle, but then took out his own muscle when he sent them for the Thanksgiving massacre. So Jim Jones just pretty much was the billboard for this. And throughout the time and era, what nobody ever speaks on, Jim Jones is a king, a ruler of Zamunda, right? Every king is responsible for his kingdom. Throughout the years, there is 1,000 niggas in the penitentiary behind Jim Jones.
And graveyards.
And graveyards. So when it gets to the point where you sit up there and say, when do you sit up there and say, my last draw with him is after all of these dudes went to jail off of his wiretap, you still glorifying as a senior citizen rapper the same lifestyle that caused these dudes to go to senior citizen, because we got to keep it all the way fucking, man. When you going on 50 years old, you a senior citizen.
Yo, first of all,
niggas is 45 years old.
As far as things go with Jim was just another dude wrapped up in that shit, bro. You can't look at it like, yo, he spearheaded. No, my nigga, he was the first nigga he might have been one of the first niggas they put a camera on, but he wasn't the leader of this shit. He wasn't the one responsible.
Absolutely nobody, and I'm gonna say this too, nobody has been a billboard for the Bloods in the East Coast like Jim Jones. Now here's the flip side. Casanova 2 times is in jail with bogus charges, but one of the main charges they have against him is that he was promoting gang life and gang activity through his music. So hold up, wait. You gonna sit up there and tell me that Jim Jones, the dude that got locked up down south, evading police with guns and drugs in the car, after a RICO Act law case, 2 federal indictments on 2 different cases with CEO Chris implementing him and others from his set. The feds, you talking about you want somebody super violated. The next case, you got dudes that's getting locked up just for being affiliated with Nontre. He's the leader. He gets around that?
Here's the difference. Out of all the people that you mentioned, who got money to fight it?
Hold up. First of all, who got money to fight it? They ain't even charge him.
Think about that though.
They didn't even charge him.
Think about that.
No.
Think about that. They didn't even charge him.
Hold up.
They
I
didn't
know
even
he's not
charge
talking about. I know he's not talking about the same dude whose house was just went into foreclosure that they took in Jersey. That was just broke until he just went. The niggas was broke. Let's stop.
No.
Niggas was getting their houses snatched. First and foremost, no rich dude.
Let's be real.
No rich dude go into foreclosure.
That was one of his houses.
One of them, right?
One
of them. Nobody houses rich dudes.
You can't say that, bro, because rich people claim bankruptcy or
Bankruptcy,
shit
yes, they
all
do.
all the time, and still be having the bag like, I just needed to get
So
clear
you
of that
telling me
shit.
you're not? Hold up. So you're gonna tell me that before you lose your house and mess up your credit, you're gonna tell me you're not gonna sell your house and flip it? You know, people flip houses, but nevertheless, even still, the feds don't care about your money because when the feds lock you up, they say, hey, come here, you. We're gonna freeze your money. Now you're broke. So whatever money you had, as soon as you getting caught up in gang activity, they grabbing your money, they're freezing it. They do that to everybody that gets locked up. Jim Jones hasn't been charged, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't been charged. When I sit back and I look at videos with Jim Jones, with his son on his page, go to the video, at the lake house, it's Papa. He's on a boat playing with white kids, with white coaches and everything else at that lake that he's at. Mm. When he gets on camera, the senior citizen rapper that so many dudes went to the grave with, when do your conscience kick in and you stop putting up pictures of Mel? Images of Mel, yeah, free my nigga, black, 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 black. Hold up, nigga. All these young kids is looking. Stack Bundles died on his watch. Others died. You got legends now.
Come on, bro. You can't blame him.
Listen,
for
what I'm saying is, based off of
Far Rockaway is his own monster, bro.
Based off of, listen what I'm saying. Based off of the interview that Jaja did, speaking on behalf, I gotta respect her testimony. Stack didn't have bread like that. He wanted out of Far Rockaway. Max B, at the height of Jim Jones' career, had bowling, was a multi-millionaire. Max B, who's writing this nigga rhymes, is doing robberies and ending up in jail for homicides. So now how you gonna sit up there and tell me I'm a multi-millionaire and I'm not taking care of the niggas around me because they broke and they doing robberies? Niggas with money in their pocket is not thinking about a robbery.
And he never put not one artist out.
Not one artist that he had. Everybody, he milked everybody. When dudes try to sit up there and say and talk about Jimmy's character, right? Let's talk about Jimmy's character.
Shout out to Cam, though.
Recently, I'm glad you said that.
Shout out to Cam, though.
Recently, Cam, right?
Cam put everybody out.
Recently, Cam, right? They just put Cam back out. That audio of Cam saying that when he got shot, the nigga that shot him threw up the rock sign, insinuating that Jay-Z had him shot, allegedly. Right? Mm-hmm. How is it that Jim Jones now, with all the hatred between, right, Cam, all the hatred between Cam and Jay-Z, you playing that Rock Nation? Not to mention Desiree, because everybody want to talk about Alpo, but Desiree took down 2 cartels. So now when it becomes the rap game, the same rappers that told us to stay away from snitching could actually hire federal agents to run their company, and drug dealer rappers, gang members, could actually work and be managed by her. You see the hypocrisy in the streets?
Wait. Let me ask you a question. How do you play it? How do you play it?
How do I play?
Realistically.
By the rules.
No. Because there's street rules. And then there's shit that makes sense. The mob always had the police involved. Always had somebody on the tape.
You said the police, not an informant that took down 2 cartels. They killed them. The mob, the mob played by different rules. Mm-hmm. If the mob knew that you brought an informant into the business, they whacked you and the informant. Mm-hmm. The mob played and had police on the payroll, not an informant that took down 2 drug cartels. This woman took down 2 drug cartels.
And she's not hiding.
So that justifies it?
No, I'm just asking.
Because
she's not.
Because
hiding.
Because
Think about that. Think about that real quick. She took down 2 cartels and she's not hiding. You don't know who she really is. You feel what I'm saying?
what I'm saying is I do know who she is. I know who her man is. Her man is a major drug dealer. I'm not gonna say his name. A major drug dealer. Major drug dealer. Jay-Z's right-hand man. I know I'm not gonna put his name out there. So we know. So it's like when it comes to celebrities, the rules change. So I tell niggas there is no rules. That's why I tell people now, don't call me, oh, you supposed to be a real, nope, I'm not a real nigga. Don't call me a real nigga no more. It doesn't exist. Everybody can fit into the category of a real nigga now. We know where it originally come from, but there's no rules anymore. Rules is bent. Because Tekashi 6ix9ine is the worst nigga in the world. But Desiree Perez is running out of court buildings. She's coming in and out of court buildings with Meek Mills, and it's like, whoa, what is this?
Now wait, how can you give a pass or a semi-pass to Tekashi saying he shouldn't have been in the whip in the first place? But look at Desiree with his limited amount of information on what's going on.
No, it
with
ain't.
that shit.
You better do your homework. It's all on the internet. That's why Dame Dash said me and Jay-Z can never mess with each other because he got to explain to me what he's doing messing with Desiree Perez. Hold that down. Dame said no. He said until we fix that and figure out what he's doing with her, we can't because these are the rules. So Dame is sticking to the rules.
To what? When you got Obama on the fucking text, my nigga. What rules are you playing by? We still playing by street rules and I'm on the phone with the president?
So listen.
Are we still doing that?
Now,
we're not doing that no more,
He just answered my question.
We're not doing that no more.
So hold up. So based off of the fact that there is no rules no more, I could show Tekashi 6ix9ine love.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.